Some people dream of success while you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Hello, I'm Ray Butler, and as you probably already know by now, for my Universal Intervention Plan video, I would like to take a few minutes to talk about the importance of motivation in the classroom. I have 4 main points that I would like to discuss with you today, and I would like to elaborate on those points by sharing personal experiences as well as critiques that I've formed through years of being a student, substitute teacher, and observer in the classroom. Let's take a look at the main ideas of the video. Before we get into the main ideas of the video, I believe it's important to lay some groundwork and to discuss what exactly motivation is. Webster's defines motivation as the act or process of giving someone a reason for doing something. It is the condition of being eager to act or work. Now, as my grandmama has always said, there's more than one way to bake a cake. And just as there's more than one way to bake a cake, there's more than one way to motivate yourself or those around you. Let's take a look at the 2 types of motivation. Intrinsic motivation is behavior that is driven by internal rewards. Extrinsic motivation is behavior that is driven by external rewards such as money, fame, and praise. These definitions came from psychology.about.com. Now that we know what motivation is and we've discussed the 2 main types of motivation, let's get to the main ideas of the video. Carol Weinstein is a professor emerita at Rutgers University. She has published and has assisted in publishing many books. And in Chapter 3 of her book on classroom management, she talks about promoting an environment of safety in the classroom. Now, in this instance, she's not talking about the assurance from physical danger. Instead, she's discussing promoting an environment that accepts all ideas as equals and not making fun of specific participants in discussions. In Chapter 3, she brings up an author by the name of Alfie Kohn. Now, Kohn is a progressive author whose main idea is to enhance the educational experience for students. And Weinstein brings up one of Kohn's many books. This one's titled Beyond Discipline, From Compliance to Community, and there's a specific excerpt that I would like to read from now. A teacher might say, "Look, it's really important to me that you feel free to say things, to come up with ideas that may sound weird, to make mistakes, and not be afraid that other people are laughing at you." In short, students want to feel like their ideas are being heard. No one likes to be judged. When I read that excerpt, I immediately went to a student who I've had the honor of working with before. Now, for confidentiality reasons, I'm going to rename this student Jim. Now, Jim was in 3rd grade this past school year, and he is of below average intelligence. He enjoys participating in class, but unfortunately, many of his 3rd grade classmates laughed at him whenever he got an answer wrong in class. His 3rd grade teacher was not promoting an environment of safety in that classroom. Recently, Jim began RTI. Now, RTI stands for Response to Intervention, and it was a program created for students who do not or have not qualified for special education services. Jim worked one-on-one with an instructional assistant for 30 minutes to an hour each day. And by working one-on-one with this assistant, the gap between he and his classmates quickly shrunk. This occurred because instead of feeling belittled and though his ideas did not matter, the instructional assistant ensured that all of Jim's ideas mattered. Creating an environment of safety in the classroom is just one way for you to increase motivation in your classroom. Let's move on. Another of Alfie Kohn's books is titled Punished by Rewards. The main idea of this book is the notion that parents and teachers are metaphorically handicapping students by constantly rewarding them. My main takeaway from the book is that in real life, responsibilities become a duty and are no longer rewarded at the same rate that they are while you're a student. In high school, during my senior year, I had a calculus teacher by the name of Mr. Wiggins. Now, Mr. Wiggins was on his first job. He had just graduated from college, and he understood the importance of intrinsic motivation because, let's face it, in college you have to have intrinsic motivation to go to class every day and to study as much as necessary to attain the grades that you want. And Mr. Wiggins was a huge proponent of increasing intrinsic motivation in his students. One of the main themes that I will carry with me forever that I learned in that class is that productivity should become a part of everyday life. Now let's take a look at the NASB standards. Now NASB stands for the National Association of Sport and Physical Education, and it's relevant to this talk because physical education is my content area. There are 5 total standards, and I would like to take a look at the 5th one specifically. It reads, "The physically literate individual recognizes the value of physical activity for health, enjoyment, challenge, self-expression, and/or social interaction." Now, I want to talk about a few of these words specifically. Let's look at the word challenge. Let's face it, physical fitness is hard, especially as we get older. We get married, we have kids, we get jobs. So finding time in our day to exercise becomes increasingly difficult the older that we get. That's why increasing intrinsic motivation from a young age is of the utmost importance. Also, let's look at the words health and enjoyment. Extrinsically, you will feel better if you are physically fit, obviously. And also, finding ways to enjoy physical fitness is of the utmost importance in instilling the notion that physical activity is a crucial part of everyday life. There's another section in Chapter 3 of Carol Weinstein's book on classroom management titled Model the Traits You Want Students to Have, and it discusses the Golden Rule, which says, "Do unto others as you would have them do to you." Now, to me, that really struck a chord because I believe as educators, we should be openly enthusiastic and excited about our jobs every day because we chose to be educators because we knew of the impact that we could have on students on an everyday basis. So being enthusiastic and being excited about the job that you do is extremely important in getting students motivated to do their work and to participate in activities. Unfortunately, in a PE setting, instructors often struggle to model the behaviors that they would like their students to behave in. A lot of PE instructors are coaches in miscellaneous sports around the school, so they spend class time watching film or working on that day's practice plan. Now, fortunately, I had a coach by the name of Coach Joyner, who was my general wellness teacher in high school. Coach Joyner chose to motivate his students by participating in the activities that we participated in. He dominated in badminton, he would destroy us in basketball, and he was great in dodgeball as well. Coach Joyner, through participating in activities with us, raised our level of motivation and instilled in us the desire to participate in activities as much as we could. Participating in class activities is just one way to raise the motivation in your classroom. Not all students are the same. Some prefer intrinsic motivation while others prefer to be praised for their efforts. For students who prefer intrinsic motivation, a simple wink or nod after an activity will show the student that you have been evaluating them and is often all you need for the student to continue to intrinsically motivate themselves. Now, for students who prefer extrinsic motivation, they often enjoy leading activities or being complimented after they succeed. A specific example of this would be at the elementary school level. If a certain student performs better than they normally do during a physical education or general education class, you allow that student to be the first cat in the game Quiet Mouse, Still Mouse. It's that simple. Praising students who prefer extrinsic motivation is a simple way to keep and raise motivation in your classroom. Now let's wrap this video up. Motivation is the lifeblood of education. In physical education, motivation is the key to current achievement as well as long-term well-being. As a physical educator, I must go the extra mile to develop relationships with my students and understand the style of motivation they prefer. I hope this video has given you some tips on how to motivate students in your current or future classrooms. Thank you for your time.
Unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talked yourself out of it?
You're waiting on your next door neighbor to make it happen for you. It may not happen. If you're waiting on your mother or your father, they may be so ancient in their thinking that they don't understand this opportunity that you have. And if you're waiting on them, it may never get done. You don't beg average people to be phenomenal. You don't beg good people to be phenomenal. You just are phenomenal, and you will attract phenomenal.
What reason can you remember that you can call on, that you can reach on, that can make you get back up? Find that reason.
If you're not where you are, if you're not where you want to be, if you don't have what you want to have, if you're not where you think you should be at this particular place, it has nothing to do with the system, but it has everything to do with the fact that you're not making the sacrifice.
No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.